Is Christmas evil? Apparently an inordinate number of people think so. My wife has been showing me these awful Facebook posts and memes. Incidentally, this is part of the reason I don't use Facebook anymore. Anyway, these, I almost called them arguments, but they're barely even assertions. But they're terribly bad. For instance, it's a historical fact that Santa Claus is a mythologized version of the Catholic saint Nicholas. The word Santa is an anagram of Satan, just as surely as God is an anagram of dog, but that doesn't mean anything. The word Santa and slight variations are used in many Romance languages such as Spanish, Portuguese, and Italian, and are equivalents of saint or holy in English. Perhaps you've heard of the Spanish Santa Biblia, aka the Bible, or the Church of Santa Maria de Miracoli in Venice. It's also difficult to see how pagans converting to Christ and then turning their cultural traditions to his worship is evil. If the people who made these memes want to give up every cultural tradition that isn't specifically mentioned in the New Testament, they're going to have an awfully dull life. But these awful memes got me wondering, what did Joseph Smith think about Christmas? Did he rhapsodize about its wonders? Did he shun it as pagan sacrilege? Sadly, little of Joseph's preserved words mention Christmas. It seems that there wasn't the tradition that the LDS Church currently has of giving Christmas-themed sermons. I could only find a few references to the holiday in the Joseph Smith papers, and none of them are religious in nature. Rather, there are a few journal entries and letters about what Joseph was doing at and around Christmas. So, let's take a look together. For instance, Joseph's journal for 25 December 1835 said that Joseph was at home all this day and enjoyed myself with my family, it being Christmas Day. Very wholesome. I approve. But the next one is even better. On December 13, 1834, this little item appeared in the Nauvoo Neighbor, a newspaper in Nauvoo. Dinner party. At the request of a large number of citizens, General Joseph Smith proposes having a dinner party on Christmas Day at 1:00 p.m. for young ladies and gentlemen. A band of music will be in attendance, and the general and his lady will also be present on the occasion. On Christmas Eve, Joseph's journal records that he was attending to my domestic duties, making preparations for a Christmas dinner party. And then, the big event. About 50 couples sat down at my table to dine. A large party supped at my house and spent the evening in music, dancing, etc., in a most cheerful and friendly manner. Great fun. I also note with some humor that Levi Richards wanted to be married immediately, and apparently hadn't let anyone know about that, but since Joseph was busy eating dinner, he delegated it to Brigham Young, who was apparently not invited to the party. But a couple of years before, circumstances were not so prosperous as they would be for that party in 1843. The Christmas of 1841 was a difficult one. On 5 January 1842, Joseph wrote to Edward Hunter, describing the store that Joseph had opened that very day. The hearts of many of the poor brethren and sisters will be made glad with those comforts which are now within their reach. The store has been filled to overflowing all day, and I have stood behind the counter, dealing out goods as steady as any clerk you ever saw, to oblige those who were compelled to go without their usual Christmas and New Year dinners, for the want of a little sugar, molasses, raisins, etc., to please myself also, for I love to wait upon the saints and be a servant to all, hoping that I may be exalted in the due time of the Lord. I love that Joseph is out there, himself, helping people, and trying to make up for what they lost in the lack of a Christmas dinner. So, although we have no flowery sermons from Joseph on the reason for the season, or on the evils of ancient winter traditions, we do have an example of family, friends, fun, and philanthropy. You can believe the anti-Christmas meme trolls if you want, but I believe Joseph.